Peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. Back again. I just want to know, when are we going to admit, brothers, when are we going to admit that the NFL is not for us? I've been really thinking about this a lot with the whole Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp thing and like just a bunch of different things, Colin Kaepernick, CTE, what's his name, Shador Sanders, like just all of this stuff. Like, how many signs do brothers need in order to know that football is not for us? Like, we don't own none of these teams. They got y'all saluting the flag and you better not kneel. Like, they telling you that, you can't come in too cocky and proud and have any type of self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? Like, at what point, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for brothers? I remember one year, I think might have been like 2 years ago, there was a brother that was playing football and something happened. He had like a heart attack or something. Do y'all remember that? Like, he had like something happened. He got hit so hard, his heart stopped in the middle of the field and he passed out. You know that used to happen to us on plantations? Do y'all know that? That used to happen to us on plantations. The average life expectancy of an enslaved African on Santo Domingue, was basically Haiti and Dominican Republic, that island. The average life expectancy once they reached that island was 5 years. And that's because they would literally collapse from overexhaustion. So when that brother was on the football field and he got hit, and they said that he had died for like a few seconds, like he was gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, when are we going to admit that football is problematic? When are we going to say? When are brothers going to say, I can't support this. I can't support this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if every black man walked off the field right now, the whole NFL would collapse. Anytime there is a white-owned industry where black men deciding to walk off the field would cause a collapse, you know it's slavery. You know it's slavery. You know that. So why do we watch football? I really get confused. Like, how much black men hold on to football, no shade to the sisters, but black men hold on to football the same way the sisters hold on to their weave. We know it's problematic, but it's so ingrained in the culture and ingrained in our mindset that we still will advocate for it, support it, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. To me, it's hypocritical. To me, it is hypocritical. But welcome to the live, y'all. I see that there are 77 people in here, but I don't see any likes in here, man. I need brothers and sisters to tap like. Not everybody. Everybody don't run and tap like, but the brothers and sisters that's in here, please, if the back of your hand does not match your palm, then I need you to tap like, please. Get me on the right algorithm so we can have the conversation that's meant to be had on here. Okay, let's get to the right algorithm, the right For You page. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody, but the children of Al-Kabulan, you know what I'm saying? We need y'all to tap like. The problem is it's just a rich, popular guy paying for cheeks. Plenty of white dudes outed by white women. I don't know what you mean, Joey. I'm not sure what you're saying. What do you mean they got outed? The problem is it's just a rich, popular guy paying for cheeks. That's a shame. To be rich and popular and still need to pay for cheeks is crazy. I'm broke as hell, but I can get cheeks for free. Ashayo. Shannon's kink is abusing white T women. No, Shannon's kink is being abused by white T women. Shannon's kink is being abused by them. Shannon is the submissive one. Don't let race fool you. Don't internalize the values or the hierarchy of race play. Shannon is the submissive one. And that's what this whole scandal was about in the first place. She was showing Shannon who's really in charge. She was showing Shannon who is truly in charge. You think you run the bedroom? Okay, you can have that. But as soon as we step outside, we're going to see who's really in charge. Shannon likes to pretend he's in charge when no one else is around. You understand? No one else is in the room and they're removed somewhat from society. Then Shannon can make believe in his mind that he is dominant over that white skin. But all she got to do is cry a little bit, sniffle, pick up the phone, dial 3 numbers, and it's a whole different scenario. All of a sudden, Shannon is submissive. Shannon is submissive in this scenario simply because if he even internalizes and believes that he's dominant, which is a racial stereotype used to objectify black men, if he even believes that, then he is submissive because her people are the one that put that in his head. Shannon got multiple settlements with multiple women listen, I don't know what Shannon got. I don't know nothing about none of that. All I know is what came out on social media because she was putting stuff out there. If y'all want to go to, find out more about what Shannon's been up to, y'all go ahead and do your research. This isn't Law and Order SVU. This is just, talking about public conversations that black people should be having. Are interracial relationships dangerous? Are they hostile? I guess that might have been the better word. Are interracial relationships a hostile attack on black people, specifically wealthy black men? Are wealthy black men under attack by white women who have chosen to support, preserve, keep alive the system of white supremacy? Are they doing their part to preserve white supremacy by extracting wealth from black men, from rich black men? And black men that have been groomed to look at whiteness as better than themselves end up falling for that trap. Not to say we don't hold Shannon responsible. We definitely got to do that. We definitely must do that. Shannon definitely put himself in this predicament. Shannon was willing to pay her $10 million in order to keep her quiet. Shannon Sharpe has not spent $10 million anywhere in the black community, but was willing to give his wealth, $10 million, to a white woman. You see how that worked? Interracial relationships are an exchange of finances, an extraction of wealth from black labor. Shannon did all the labor with his body, sacrificed his body on that field to get that money. His white masters made sure that he was well rewarded for it. And then he turned right around and there's a bunny there ready to take it all, back to her community. He just got that podcast check. It's about to be gone. So, when it comes to interracial relationships, we have to remember that the black individual is the one that is submissive. There's never a time where black people are dominant over white people. Y'all can make that up and make pretend in your mind when you're in bed that you have power over her, but that is not the truth. That is not the truth. That is the furthest from it. And she knows it. That's why she fetishizes it. That's why she objectifies you. She knows that. You know what I'm saying? It's like pretending that your dog runs the house. You know, you might be playing around and this is your house. Where you want me to sit at? You know, talking to a dog. You know, but you know deep in your mind that you just playing, and that's what makes it fun. Is that you're playing because at any moment you can take back control of the situation, and that's what she showed Shannon Sharpe. That at the end of the day, she controls the situation of what's going on, and she can bring a rich, powerful man down to her level. And boy, did she. All right. The next question: can you be pro-black with a non-black partner? That's a one that I've asked many times. I always get a different answer from it. Y'all, I haven't been going live enough for people to be up in here for real. So that's why I think I only got 15 people in here. But we can have a conversation. If somebody wants to come up and talk, then they can come up, answer the questions. I will ask you to be respectful. We're having a sensitive discussion, so keep your isms and phobias to yourself. But yeah, like when it comes down to being pro-black, it all comes down to how we define it. Some people define it as just liking black people. I don't. I don't care whether you like us or not, to be honest. It's about what you're doing for us. What are you building for us? Have you built anything? What have you done? I really don't care whether or not you like your own people. I don't have to like y'all. I have work to do because I like myself. Subsequently, by loving myself, I love my people. But that don't mean I gotta like you. Oh my goodness, I got some black folks I can't stand. But guess what? That don't stop me from building. Why do I build? Because I love myself. I love myself. And looking at the state of our people, I would be ignorant to ignore it and act as if I don't play a part in helping us build, or I shouldn't play a part in helping us build. I've had people in interracial relationships come up and say that they were pro-black because they donated to the ghetto. And I'll be like, really? You know what I'm saying? I donated to children in Africa. What do you mean I'm not pro-black? That is not my definition either. That is not my definition. Black people don't need your charity. Black people don't need your charity. We don't need anyone's charity. African people definitely don't need African Americans' charity even. Excuse me. They don't need charity from anyone. What do they need? What do they need? Do y'all know what the definition of being pro-black really is? Prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interests of building within the black community. So when we say that, we're saying that your number one focus is your community. And not only that, you're building within your community and what's in their best interest, anything in their best interest. Because you got to understand, some things that are in the best interest of black people will be deemed immoral and wrong by their oppressor. So some things we need to talk about, some things we need to do are going to seem immoral and wrong to our oppressor. Why? Because they got different problems than we got. If I'm sick and you're sick, we can't both just take the same medicine. We got to, maybe sometimes we both got the same cold. You know what I'm saying? We both sick the same way. Got to go to a doctor, find out, and he prescribed the same medicine or she prescribed the same medicine to us. But what makes you sick might not make me sick. And what makes me sick might not make you sick. So the medicine for black people is not the medicine for white people. And that's something that even black people have a hard time understanding. As I've had more and more talks over the past 3 years, since I started this social media thing, I've noticed that A lot of black people have a moral consciousness that's been fine tuned by their oppressor. Their moral consciousness has been fine tuned by their oppressor. So that means even in a secluded conversation with other black people, I have to watch my mouth as if a white man's in the room. I have to watch what I say around other black folks. We can't openly talk about our liberation. We can't even openly condemn our oppressor. For example, if our oppressor is an LGBTQ person, then me as a straight black man get looked at weird if I say something to this person. You see what I'm saying? Because the white supremacist system has made it such that they're a more protected class than even black people. They're a more protected class than black people. Why? Because they have more access to privilege and the powers that be. A lot of them are in that community, right? Y'all know that. Y'all know that, right? Y'all remember when they had the Republican National Convention and they found out that like half the men in there was on Grindr, like it's a gay dating app. So we already know a lot of those people are your Republicans. But should I say something about that? There's a problem, right? And the other thing is, we have a past here in America, as black men specifically, where that type of lifestyle was weaponized against us as a form of punishment in order to make us more submissive and dehumanize us. So, the same way chocolate cake is perfectly fine to eat. If I forced you to eat chocolate cake as a punishment for 400 years, you might not want chocolate cake no more. You know what I'm saying? You might even be scared to death of chocolate cake. You might be, oh my God, is that a chocolate cake? What are you going to do to me? You know what I'm saying? You might have to heal from that. And if it's a generational trauma, oh my goodness, you're going to have to heal for a long time. So that's another thing I think is kind of like spoken about in the wrong context is when we say that people in the black community are homophobic, and we talk about them as if they have the same issues with LGBT that white people do. Our experience with LGBT people is more informed by our past. When we were in Africa, there were people that did some of the activities that so-called LGBT people practice. And at the end of the day, it wasn't something that, we were attacking them for. It wasn't celebrated, but it was just something that was there and the people allowed it. It wasn't until we come to the West where all of a sudden it's an identity. It's not just an activity. It's an identity. They have a flag. They have a way that they speak. For most of human history, the only people groups that had flags were nations. Why is it that a sexual preference now has a flag? And why is that flag being given to you by your oppressor? And why is your oppressor giving you that flag? Like that's really the thing, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. talks about how labels, titles, and identities are what's going to unalive black people. Like we can't have liberation if we pick up every identity given to us by our oppressor. If I said right now that eating cereal in the morning made you a cerealist, and I made a flag for it and said, cereal pride, y'all. Cereal pride. Look at these waffle eaters. Look at these waffle eaters. They eat waffles for breakfast. Oh, my goodness. You guys are cereal phobic. Look at these, and I just said that activity qualified you to be as a part of our people group and essentialized what you ate for breakfast. We would see even more division in the black community. How are we ever going to come together? Because there would be people that would say, You're just hating because I eat cereal. And, you know, there would be people that say, because what Pan Africans would be saying is, you're not defined by what you ate for breakfast today. And what the cereal eating people would say is, I'm a cereal eater and I'm proud, and I am cereal eater and I'm black. So you can't take that away from me. And the Pan Africanists are just like, listen, at the end of the day, you're not oppressed because you eat cereal. You're oppressed because you are black. And at the end of the day, that cereal identity is made up and given to you by your oppressor, the one that has been trying to keep you divided for 400 years. So why are we dividing ourselves up based on activities? Why are we dividing ourselves further based on activities? I see the same thing when I see black men and women argue over gender wars. Like, once again, a false identity. As long as we are black, we're neither man nor woman. Let's be honest. I'm sorry, y'all, if this is a little deep. This is a pure shot of molasses. I'm just gonna cut it straight because we don't even got that many people in here, so I should be able to talk honestly. As long as we are black, as long as the system of racism, white supremacy continues to control and dominate all 9 areas of people activity, then we are neither man nor woman, to be honest. Let's like all the way real in society. When we're around each other, we're going to always call each other man and woman because we recognize humanity in each other. That's our default. We are the origin of humanity. So we treat each other humanely. I see a woman, I don't call her out her name. I don't call her female or anything degrading like that. I call her a woman because she is a human being and a human woman. And that's not how it is when we are around other people. And we need to remember that. I think we need to understand that. These gender wars back and forth between brothers and sisters is nothing more than the same division tactic that the white supremacist system has done to us since we came here. They would put us on boats. And do you know that when they would put us on these ships and treated us as merchandise or products, they would separate the men from the women? At first, they didn't do it. And there was some kind of problem logistically. I forgot what happened. I think the women were unaliving, like being unalived. Oh, yeah. Okay. So at the bottom of the quote unquote slave ships, we know that they weren't actually slave ships. They were shipment containers. Like we weren't even considered human enough to have our own dedicated ships. Whatever they were shipping across the Atlantic Ocean, whether it be us as people or boxes or whatever, they would just put it on the ship. But anyway, originally in the ships, they would put men and women together, and they didn't care much about that. People were defecating on themselves, people throwing up, red stuff, blood, all of that on themselves, right? On each other, and women's bodies have to be taken care of a certain way. And I think the women understand what I'm talking about. Like women have an open part of their body that can't be having random bacteria and stuff going in there. You know what I'm saying? So the women wouldn't make it through the voyage. And so that's when they learned later on, when they decided to increase and get more women to bring on the ships, that's when they decided to separate the men and the women. Hey, truth be told, peace, what up, Ashe. So that's when they decided to put men and women in separate parts of the ship. And then when we got on the plantation, same thing. They kept the men away from the women because they didn't want us to form family units. Because when people form a family unit, they will protect their family with their life, especially the men. We will, and the women too. I mean, but we'll do whatever for our family. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, sis. I hope all is well. But yeah, That being the case, it has always been incentivized by racism, white supremacy to keep black men and women divided. And so that is why when we go into the gender wars, we are arguing over each other about which one is more humane in an environment where neither of us are seen as human. You know what I'm saying? Of course, when we're alone, there are men and there are women there. But the moment a white person walks into the room, that white person thinks in their mind, I am the only man or woman here. And the rest of y'all is a bunch of N-words. That's the first thing that comes to their mind is that, let's say we're all on the Titanic. It's one white T person and a bunch of black people. Everybody else is black. The ship start going down, or maybe a boat is coming to rescue us. That white person is going to make sure they get to the front of the line, and that boat, if the boat that's rescuing them is white people on it, then guess what? They're going to grab that white person first. They're going to skip right over your subhuman ass. And that's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, we're arguing over who's, men and women, issues mostly fine-tuned also by our oppressor. Because I've seen men project onto black women what white men have projected onto white women. And I've seen vice versa, right? I've seen black women have expectations for black men that are informed by white women's relationship with white men. Appreciate that, Sister Scoops, and shout out to apxc.jpg. Sound like you a photographer, man. Shout out to you. What up? What up? So that's the other thing about the gender wars in the black community is it's like, these men want this soft, submissive wife. Like they don't understand we on a battlefield and our women have had to endure what no other woman has had to endure. So her femininity is not going to look the same as the European idea of feminine. You know what I'm saying? She's no less feminine, but it's not going to look the same. And so, that's why I dislike seeing all of that too. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the sisters. I can't tell you how many times I've seen, I won't even call them sisters, but they, black women, feminists that say, black men are the problem. They're the weakest link. That's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. You know what I'm saying? To say that someone in your own community is the weakest link. Like, how does that work? Because which one of us is the strong link? I'm trying to figure out who is the strong link. Where are the strong links at? Because we ain't free. Is there a half of the community that has found liberation? Because I'm trying to find the strong link then. Because all I see is when I look in our community, all I see is everybody got a problem. Everybody got problems. I see the men putting their problems on the women. I see the women putting their problems on the men. I see the biracial people putting their false identity as well onto the monoracial and the monoracial, like just all this different little divisions. You know what I'm saying? And we don't understand that when you're on a battlefield, you don't have time to say, oh, well, I'm different from you because my boots are shinier. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been so conditioned and we're so comfortable in white supremacy sometimes that we think we have the luxury of arguing back and forth with each other about the most petty, false identity that was given to us by our oppressor. Shout out to CC. Appreciate that, sister. Yeah, thank y'all for tapping like, man. We over 3K. I appreciate it. Just sharing some, I be coming on here. It's been a while since I really like, came up here and talked with y'all. I've been building a lot, and I'm gonna be honest. I kind of needed the social media break, but I still be talking on Twitter. I be going viral on Twitter, bro. I be going viral on Twitter. I ain't gonna front. I'll be like, the CIA got me. I don't know, yo. I don't know, man. The CIA watching me, bro. I'm gonna be honest. When they came after African Stream, did y'all see that? When the national security chief of the United States called out African Stream, I was already on their page. They got 2 of my videos up there. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying, bro? I ain't trying to go too viral, you know what I'm saying? I want my people to know what I'm talking about. But if they looking at African Stream, I'm sure they looking at everyone African Stream has posted. This Russian propaganda, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know not one Russian. Don't know not one Russian. But I'm just a Pan-African, you know what I'm saying? And what that means is, first and foremost, I am an African. Back to the conversation. First and foremost, I understand that I must essentialize my identity as African. Before I'm a man, I'm an African. Before I'm any religion, I'm an African. Before any sexual orientation, preference, gender, any of that, I'm an African. You see what I'm saying? Before any lightness of my skin, darkness of my skin, or identity of my parents, I'm an African. Why do we have to think this way? Because this is the way liberation movements are formed. They are formed by people sharing an identity centered on who they truly are and how they're being oppressed. But I put the who they truly are part first because that is why I'm an African. I'm not an African because I'm oppressed. I'm not an African because I'm oppressed. I'm African because I share a land, history, and culture going back thousands of years to the continent of Africa with other black people around the world. Hey, appreciate that, sister. Don't forget to hit this little heart thing. I think this helps with the algorithm. I'm going to put it down there. But I appreciate the gifts, man. But yeah, just talking. Hey, you about to Panther paw me down? Nah, I'm playing. But nah, yeah, so before we're anything else, before, we're a Democrat, Republican, gay and straight really get on my nerves, to be honest, because that one had me, bruh. That one had me reading bell hooks. Truth be told, appreciate it. That one had me reading bell hooks. Truth be told, might have been here when I was reading bell hooks and just starting to do a deeper dive into her. There was a lot of lectures that I would listen to, and I'm like, dang, okay, she cooking. She cooking. She told me something, and to this day, I still learn some lessons about my own internalized misogyny. Oh my goodness! And when I talk about my internalized misogyny, people act like that means I have washed myself clean of misogyny, and I now have never have a thought where I don't see women and treat them as humanely as I would myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not how it works, y'all. That's just not how it works. The first thing I could do is train my actions and have internal dialogue to correct myself. But those subconscious thoughts, you know what I'm saying? There's times where I catch myself looking at a sister. I'm like, and then I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, bro. You objectifying her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that second thought that corrects the conscious mind corrects the subconscious mind. But it only does that because the knowledge is there, right? Like I've studied enough to know, I'm not gonna see. Now my actions is a lot easier to control, but the subconscious mind is like the intrusive thoughts. You know what I'm saying? The thoughts where, shoot, somebody walked past you and things are popping out and sticking out and stuff. you might just happen to just glance. You know what I'm saying? And so, not to say that's wrong to look at them either. You know what I'm saying? They out in public. It's all right. But it's the thought behind why you're looking at them. You see what I'm saying? So, when I was reading Bell Hooks, there was a lot of stuff that she taught, and I was getting it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see why people like her. And then there were some things I was listening with my wife. Right hand to Ogun. I was listening to my wife. I was listening to a lecture from Bell Hooks with my wife in the room. She's in the next room. She's just listening along. And then all of a sudden, I heard Bell Hooks say something. My wife was like, that ain't right. My wife was like, that ain't it. I'm like, what? And she a woman, so I'm like, I think she don't. Maybe she got some internalized misogyny or not misogyny, patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe she. But yeah, there was something about Bell Hooks that just kept doing that to me. I kept reading more. Like maybe I just don't understand. Maybe I'm gonna just keep reading. And I'm like, yeah, And then I'm like, why she say that? You know what I'm saying? And then I learned in one of her lectures, she was sitting across from Gloria Steinem. And I'm like, oh boy. All right. So we are deep in, the left. But, why is it that in this lecture with Gloria Steinem, Bell Hooks had nothing but positive things to say about Gloria Steinem, a white woman that helped to dismantle the Black Panther Party by using feminism, right? Like feminism was weaponized to dismantle the Black Panther Party, and black women in the Black Panther Party agreed with this. Black women in the Black Panther Party said verbatim, I'm going to try to quote her. But basically, the sister was saying, we don't know when the Black Panther Party became a man's party because we were women and we were there and it was mostly women. Like, what? Like, she was like saying, even the things that the Black Panther were doing, you could tell it was run by women because they were having free breakfast programs to feed children. They're teaching in classrooms and teaching the children. Like, it was all focused around the children, and things that, women do, and, it's part of divine femininity to, nurture our young. And that's what they were doing. And she looked at that and was like, yeah, like, how did this become a man's party? When did this become the party of men? Oh, Gloria Steinem. Because what happened was white women saw black women standing up against their oppressor and were afraid that black women would be more successful in liberating themselves as black than they would be liberating all women, even women outside of the community, right? There was a woman, Margaret, what was her name? I forgot her name, but she was a senator. She was a senator back when they wrote the 14th Amendment. And basically, no, not Margaret Sanger. I'm trying to remember this woman's name. You can look it up though. She was a white senator that proposed to add SMEX. All right, I'm on TikTok, so I gotta say certain words. SEX, but I'm gonna say SMEX. Okay, I don't mean the act. I mean the identity or the orientation. I don't know if that's even the right word, but that's not the right word. I don't know. The thing between your legs, whatever you got is your SMEX. You know what I'm trying to say? Okay. So she wanted to add SMEX to the 14th Amendment, which was wrote for black people during the civil rights. Like, it was wrote for not just black people, but just to say you can't discriminate by race, color, national origin. And then she said, let's add SMEX to it because the bill wasn't getting passed. The 14th Amendment, they did not want to pass it. You got to understand that Washington was almost all white men back then. They didn't want to pass the Civil Rights Act, y'all. They did not want to pass it. And so this woman knew they didn't want to pass it. This white tea woman knew they were not going to pass it. And so she trolled them. I mean, she says it wasn't a joke, but she says, like, she kind of knew it wasn't going to get passed. Margaret Chase Smith. Is that it? Was it Margaret Smith? I'm not even sure if her first name was Margaret, to be honest. I'm going to look it up now because now I don't want to, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to get my laptop. But yes, I showed the video before. I think I might have even made a video on the video where she gives the interview talking about like how she got, she takes credit for passing the 14th Amendment. And it was because she added SMEX to the 14th Amendment in order to, she was part of the Women's Rights Party or whatever, and or Women's Rights Movement, and they were able to get the rights that black people had been hosed down in the streets for and just cut in front of the line. Like the 14th Amendment. Oh, okay, that is who did it. Okay, cool. Yeah, Margaret Chase Smith. Okay. If that's her name, yeah, y'all look her up. But yeah. So yeah, I think it was Margaret Smith. I didn't know her middle name. But yeah, or her maiden name, whatever. But yeah, so she was able to cut in front of the line. We had to get hosed down in the streets, dogs biting at the tatas of our women. You know what I'm saying? Biting at the tatas of our women, biting it off. Crazy stuff. Dogs sick on us, all types of beat downs and crazy stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And this white woman just, when the white men would seem to have a hard time passing it, she had smacks to it. And the white men said, you know what? These racist white men that would not pass a bill for civil rights when it was all about black people, all of a sudden, when she added gender to it, they were like, you know what? Because we got women in our community. So we can use this to help our women. You know what? I like this. Pass the Civil Rights Act. And there you go. That's your liberal politics of today. In a nutshell. That's how we got where we're at. That's how we got where we're at. That's how feminism was used to co-opt the civil rights movement. Feminism, something started by white Klanswomen, by the way. So anyone black in here that identifies themselves as a feminist, look up your founding mothers. Look up your founding mothers and notice the point in their hood, okay? And there's more to be said about that. What was their names? You're talking about the women that I'm talking about. Elizabeth Cady Stanton is one. She's not the one I think was directly in the Klan, but she was affiliated. And just by what she said is just insane. But you know what I'm saying? The one that was in the Klan, she was the first woman senator. I forget her name. She was the first woman senator. I think she's from Georgia. White tea woman. If you type first woman senator, or was it congresswoman? It might have just been congresswoman. I forgot her name too. I didn't really come up here to talk about this. Usually I try to prepare with the names. I'm not good with names. I'm good with faces and facts. Like, if we talking numbers, I can remember that. But names of crackers I don't want nothing to do with. Elizabeth Cady, Cady is C-A-D-Y, Cady Stanton. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Oh, my goodness. Her argument was that white women should be able to vote because All right, so let me run back real quick. Margaret Smith, right? The woman that did the 14th Amendment thing, right? She added SMEX to the bill and the white men agreed with it. The reason she said it was taken as a joke from Congress, like no one took her seriously. But the reason she said she added SMEX to the 14th Amendment, the Civil Rights bill, was because she didn't want, and this is what made it click for a lot of white men. This is why they passed it, was because she said she didn't want to live in America where black women have more job opportunities than white women. Because if we no longer discriminate based on race, white women was afraid that black women would be able to get better jobs or get better pay than white women can. So that's what she said in the interview. Y'all can look it up. She said it out her mouth. Came right out her mouth. Y'all can look up the interview. So again, black women that call themselves feminists, look up your founding mothers. They did not F with y'all. They did not. And then the other person I was talking about, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, this was during the suffragette movement. Elizabeth Cady Stanton argued that white women should have the right to vote because black men, because at the time they were like pondering giving, all men the right to vote, including black men. And she was saying they're of the lower orders of men. They're from the lower orders of men. That black men are lower than us. So if it is true that whiteness is superior, then white women must also be allowed to vote. That is Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And then the last one, I'm going to look, dang, my laptop is dead, man. I really wasn't planning on talking about this, but I like sharing this knowledge because it helps deliberalize some black people that are liberals. Like, if you black, we love you. If you're a liberal, then we just want to teach you. You know what I'm saying? We just want to, because we got to remember that the same way people try to repaint history and retell history in broad daylight here on social media, they've been repainting and reorganizing history to fit their narrative for so long that if you never looked any of this really up, and I hate it when people try to get on, excuse me, I got hiccups, but I hate it when people try to make fun of or embarrass people for Martha Griffiths. That was her name. Thank you, Sister Scoops. Thank you. That was her name. It wasn't Smith. It was Martha Griffiths. I'm about to say, I don't know if that sounded right. Martha Griffiths. Yes, she's the one that added SMEX to the 14th Amendment. Thank you. Shout out to you, sister. I appreciate the help. Y'all know I be needing some help sometimes, man. I'm not going to tell you nothing that I haven't already researched, but when it comes to specific details, I done looked this shit up years ago, already digested it, understood it, moving according to what I have learned. You know what I'm saying? I forget the names of people and all that. I just know what the fuck went on. I know exactly what was happening though. You know what I'm saying? I know why it's a problem. I just, it's been a while since I did the video on that one. But I'm going to get y'all that last person's name. My laptop is charging up. But yeah, the last woman, she was the first congresswoman, I believe. First congresswoman, or she was the first senator. She was from Georgia. She was an old white lady. And she was only honorary. She was only an honorary congresswoman. I believe it was a congresswoman. I'm not sure. But it was only for a moment. Just I think it was only 24 hours. But that's why they had to put a white woman in there first. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, okay, she was the first one. Yeah, she was straight up her idea. Listen to me close, because I'm not even talking about cherry picked examples. Okay, I'm telling y'all about the mothers of feminism. All right, so I'm not just telling y'all little cherry picked examples, because once I tell y'all these names, look up Elizabeth Cady Stanton, look up Martha Griffiths. I just told y'all how they was racist. Now, as you go through feminist circles, watch how many times these names get brought up like they're superheroes. Okay. But the other congresswoman that I'm talking about, she was the first woman to be a congresswoman or senator or whatever. And she said, because, they were at the time debating, the right to vote and all that other stuff. She said, I believe it was her, that said they wanted to rope up 1,000, if needed, 1,000 brothers a week in order to scare us from voting. That's what she said. And this was after black men had the right to vote, to my knowledge. And that's why she said it, because she said we need to discourage them from voting. Again, that is why we see, because our sisters get, essentialize their womanhood as an identity outside of African. They essentialize their womanhood. Because of that, they get duped and brought into like what white women got going on. And they don't understand sometimes that there was a lot of hatred that led white women to becoming feminists. And it was hatred for non-white people. And so you'll see that even a lot of black feminists or, even other non-white feminists have a lot of anti-black misandry, or their tone towards black men is very vilifying. Like they see black men like Elizabeth Cady Stanton said, a lower order of men. Black men are the weakest link, calling them YNs. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do young black boys have their own racial slur? Can we think about that? Oh man, Brother Legend, you so deep all the time, man. We just having fun. Why do we have a slur specifically for military-aged young black men? By military age, I mean between the ages of 17 and 25. Who is threatened by these young boys to the point where they have their own racial slur? And why is it that many black feminists feel the same way? I've heard people using that slur, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to how we treat our boys and how we treat our men, black men and boys deserve empathy. Black women and girls deserve empathy. We are human beings. We are the original human beings. We deserve the most empathy, but we get treated with the least. And our women deserve extra empathy, because they're women. That should be simple. Like, do I have to explain that one? Like, we all came out of a mother, right? So you came out of a woman, right? So empathy means I am not my brother's keeper. I am my brother. I am not my sister's keeper. I am my sister. I'm not my mother, but I am my mother. You know what I'm trying to say? I come from her. The cells in my body came from her. So we are connected that way. So yes, it is perfectly natural to have a special level of empathy for the women in our community. That's perfectly natural. And so them being deserving of that empathy, but being given, along with the rest of the black community, the least empathy is just sad, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. It's a travesty. First Congress woman. All right, let me see what her name was. I could tell if I see her face. Maybe she was in Congress. Only woman ever elected to Congress. Yeah, okay. Activism. I don't know if this is her, though. Hold up. I'm looking it up. But yeah, so I'm looking up some of the early feminists to kind of just talk about it with y'all. Jeanette Rankin, let me see. I'm getting Jeanette Rankin. Except I'm not sure if that was her name. Again, like, I'm not the best with names. Jeanette Rankin. Yeah. Republican Party history. She the Republicans are giving her praise. Somebody help me look this up, man. First woman senator. Keep tapping like, y'all, so we stay on the right algorithm. I swear to God. Because I'll be ending up with all these C-rackers in my Rebecca Latimer. That's who she was. Okay, here we go. Rebecca Latimer was an American writer, politician, and slave owner who was the first woman to serve in the United States Senate. So she was a senator, serving only for a day. She was a prominent member of the Georgia upper class. I told y'all she was from Georgia, who advocated for prison reform, women's suffrage, and education reform. I swear to you, if you go in feminist circles, you will hear her name. And it makes me nauseous. It's Rebecca Latimer Felton, but a lot of people know her as Rebecca Latimer. That's how I was introduced to her. That was her name. Rebecca Latimer. My. And was she in the Klan? Racial views. After she was married at age 18, Felton and her husband owned slaves. So do I have to tell you she was in the Klan, or can we stop there? Does owning slaves prove someone's racist enough, or, like, you know what I'm saying? Does she need to say the N-word out loud? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I need video of her saying the N-word? Like, I don't know how racism works on the internet. That's enough for me, though. It says Felton was a white supremacist. She claimed, for instance, that the more money that Georgia spent on black people's education, the more crimes black people committed. That's what she said. And who do you think they was throwing in jail for these crimes? For the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition, she proposed a Southern exhibit illustrating the slave period, with a cabin and real colored folks making mats, shuck collars, and baskets. A woman to spin and card cotton. So this is y'all feminist heroes. She wanted to have a black woman in this exhibit at the World's Columbian Exposition. I guess it was some type of fair back in the day. She wanted to have black women, real black women, in the exhibit, spinning and carding cotton, and another to play the banjo and show the actual life of the slave, not the Uncle Tom sort, is what it says here. Hold on. Okay. TikTok is thinking I'm spamming people or something. TikTok is so weird now. It wasn't like this before. Felton considered young blacks, YNs, who sought equal treatment, half-civilized gorillas, and ascribed them to a brutal lust for white women. Y'all know what that means, right? That's the long one. Like, there's two that black people do. We do That's the three, right? And then we got the long one that go like that. Do y'all know that? If you got a black mother, you know the long one. You know what the long one means. But yeah, man. She said, hold on, it's getting crazy. Hold on. Yo, this y'all feminist heroes. Hold on. Felton also advocated, this is what I was trying to tell y'all before. Didn't I tell y'all this? Felton also advocated for more unalivings by tree for black men, saying that Such was an Elysian compared to the possible grape of whitey women. Felton gave a speech at Tybee Island, Georgia, to several hundred members of the Georgia State Agricultural Society. She urged an increase in tree ornaments in order to protect rural white women from being raped by black men. Don't nobody want y'all stale pancakes, man. Don't nobody want them old flapjacks, them half-cooked vegan raw flapjacks. Don't nobody want your nasty ass potato salad. We don't want that. But anyway, when there is just, this is a quote from her. This is Wikipedia, yes. There is a quote from her. When there is not enough religion in the pulpit to organize a crusade against sin, nor justice in the courthouse to promptly punish crime, nor manhood enough in the nation to put a sheltering arm about innocence and virtue. Innocence and virtue, guys. If it needs to be put in a tree, you know what I'm saying? The L word, right? It rhymes with inching. You know what I'm saying? She says, if it needs inching to protect women's dearest possession from the ravening human beasts, then I say inch 1,000 times a week if necessary. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That's what this is why I'm trying to say. No matter what we essentialize as, if it is not African, then we're going down the wrong path, y'all. We're going down the wrong path. We're not men or women to these people. We don't got time to be arguing with each other over the most petty, stupid stuff. That's what I think social media is useful for, keeping us distracted, keeping us fighting with one another. They've been doing this, and I told y'all how they used to do it on the ship. Like, they did it on the plantation. Has anyone read the Willie Inch letters? The Willie Inch letters, where the man and the woman had to compete for master's favor in order to, get a good works, good pat on the back. We had to compete for the jobs on the share to be sharecroppers. Do y'all know about this? So the goal of white supremacy has always been to divide men and women. Black women were standing up right next to black men and saying they wanted black power. And then a white woman came around and said, but you're a woman, aren't you? I recognize you as a woman. I see your humanity. Those men are men. And they're no different than our men, which is a damn lie, right? Because black men don't even define, in studies that have been done, it is shown that black men don't even have the same definition of manhood and masculinity that white men have. How about that? We don't even have the same definition. And that's the other problem with explaining Pan-Africanism to people, other than just, how their emotions and morals have been fine-tuned by their oppressor. So when you talk about certain things, you sound like you're one of the phobics. The other problem is that when black people say words and white people say words, they mean two different things. But black people believe that when white people say something, that they're saying the same thing we're saying. Case in point, look at the Revolutionary War in America. Look at the revolution. There was black people in the battlefield pew-pewing at the British, thinking it was about to be liberty and justice in this land. They really thought liberty and justice was about to happen. So they're like, liberty? Wow, I'm enslaved. You know what? Liberty sounds really good. And justice? What? We getting liberty and some justice? We ain't never had justice on this side of the planet before. You know what? Liberty and justice. All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm gonna take some British out. Where the red coats at? You know what I'm saying? Because black people think that white people saying the same thing, but they not. They talking about liberating themselves to continue robbing you. They tired of Britain robbing you. They want to rob you direct. They want your labor. They want your resources. You see what I'm saying? It's a cold world we live in, y'all. It's a cold world we live in. But I just want to say too, about this woman, this senator, Rebecca Latimer. My. Don't she sound like some of our sisters that are feminists? This is what I'm trying to say. Don't she sound like them? Just a little bit. All these black men do is they want white women. They want white women. The civil rights movement was just an excuse for black men to sleep with white women. Don't they? Is that not the same talking point? That's the same exact talking point as Rebecca Latimer, who just said she should put 1,000 of us up in a tree every week. You see what I'm saying? Because they following after the person that wrote the code for what they're following. And they don't understand that it feels like validation when a white woman calls you part of the sisterhood. And I know you've been trained to look at their ice as colder and just their words as valid. But I'm sorry, sisters, they do not include you. They don't. No. We must be community minded. We have to be community minded. I can't say I'm gonna liberate black men and black women gonna stay in oppression. I can't say I'm pro black women. I don't know about these N words, these YNs out here. No. I have to think for the whole community. And if I want to start with the community, I got to start with the very basis of our community. That starts with the children. I got to focus on the children. We got to think about what we do today that will affect the next generation. If we could get 3 generations of black people pulling their shit together and not passing on these toxic ideas onto the next generation, I swear we'll be free in what's that, 90 years, as opposed to another 400 years. 3 generations. We just need 3 generations of halfway conscious black folks, and all the generational curses and all that stuff we be talking about will wash away. It'll wash away. You know how I know? Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, man, RIP. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, man. Damn, I just thought about him. He definitely gave us a lot of answers, a lot of solutions. There's a brother on here named Justin Scott who repeats a lot of the talking points of Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. So if you're a fan of that brother Justin Scott, he's like a kind of dorky, brother that got some glasses on. He got a low cut. He talks kind of like Chucky from Rugrats. No disrespect to that brother. I really love him. But he puts out a lot of content explaining, what we need to be doing, how we need to be thinking. I haven't seen him in a while, so I don't know if he's veered off. A lot of content creators that start out pro-black end up like veering left. Unfortunately, I think I stayed too spot on sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I keep having uncomfortable conversations with other black people that, have internalized some of these ideals that we're talking about. But I got to tell the truth. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to tell y'all what I've learned. And as much as it would warm the hearts of many sisters that probably support my little social media identity and all that stuff, I'm not in it for that, to be honest. I'm in it for B1 Initiative. The link is in my bio. I'm in it for the people that are building, to be honest. I only even come live to find more people that are willing to come and join us and build. Wait, hold on. Somebody got a question. How you spell the doctor's name? Oh, Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. So that's Jawa, Jawa, Nza, Nz as in zebra A. So Jawa, N zebra A, Kunjufu. Kun, N is in Nancy. So Kun, and then J, U, F is in Frank, U. So Kunjufu, Kunjufu. That's Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. He just passed away like 2 days ago, man. Just kind of broke my heart a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. Um, he inspired so many people, man. He inspired so many curriculums. And the name of his book, which I guess the topic is becoming about, is Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. That's the lecture you want to look up. That's the book you want to look up. Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. Oh my goodness. Very powerful. He talks about, similar to what Sister Weems, I forget her name, Weems is her last name, Weems, Weems, hold on, I'm about to get her name for y'all. But she wrote the book Africana Womanism. That's the kind of approach I take when it comes to educating myself about what we need to be doing as a people and how I should be treating my sisters. Clenora Weems. Okay, so you did see the lecture. Yeah, that's a good lecture. That's a good book too, though. He gets more in depth. But Clenora Weems wrote Africana Womanism. Oh my goodness. She argues some of the same points that Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu argues, and that I just told y'all earlier. And that is that we should be focused on the family. We should be focused on the community, and we should be focused on our children instead of argue. If we could get black childrenists instead of feminists, if we can get some black childrenists, then, that would be amazing. And of course, a lot of that responsibility is going to have to fall on black men that walk out the home. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. See, that's the thing. That's the thing on my platform is I get on the brothers, I get on the sisters, I get on the everybody, because I'm strictly keeping it African. And unfortunately, all these other identities is informed by our oppressor. So you kind of end up making everyone mad. Everyone. Like I'm telling you, I got enemies I don't even know their name. I don't even know. I be chilling with my wife. We be scrolling down YouTube, and there'll be some dude pointing at a screen, talk with my picture in the background, saying something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. You end up pissing everybody off when you just unapologetically African, and that's all right. That's all right. Pan-Africanism is not for everybody. Everybody's not gonna make it to Garvey land. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not gonna make it to the motherland. It's cool. And I don't mean the motherland on earth. I mean the motherland in your mind. Everybody not going to be able to come because we don't need everybody to come, to be honest. Some of y'all need to stay here, especially those that identify another false identity, FBA, another false identity. You see how many there are? FBA. Then you got some black people that want to be something else. They think they from the Anunnaki and I don't know what kind of drugs, man. I don't know what the CIA got something to do with this, but all these false identities. If you want to really know more about this topic on identity, there's a man and a woman I can give you. The man is Dr. Amos Wilson. He wrote The Blueprint for Black Power. Ashe Oda Amos Wilson, he has passed away. The sister has also passed away. Man, I love this sister. Her name is Dr. Barbara Sizemore. Size like, someone that has a big size, and then more. It's one word, M-O-R-E. So size more, like more size. It's kind of funny that that's her name, but yeah, Dr. Barbara Sizemore tells us unapologetically exactly why we should only identify as African. That's our only true identity. Black can tell you how you look, but it can't tell you who you are. The proper name of a people should always relate to land, history, and culture. That is the words of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, the teacher of Malcolm X, when it came to history and geopolitics and things like that. That's the words of John Henrik Clarke. The proper name of a people. So we can call ourselves black. I'm black and I'm proud. That's all right. But I know what black really means. Black really means I have a proximity to the richest history, land, and culture on earth. You understand? Black is African. You don't get black without African. So that being the case, let's go to the source. Let's go beyond black. Let's keep walking. And let's go all the way to the end of the tunnel and see where it started at. Okay, we Africans. Let's ride out. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? When we tell ourselves you're woman first, man first, you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, left and right, and Christian, Muslim, it's so many false identities that don't nobody oppressing you give a damn about. And they actually prefer y'all to do that because as long as y'all are doing that, we know y'all not going to come together. They divided up the continent physically with borders, and then they divided up the continent mentally with their religion. Spiritually divided. How about that? That's more than mental. We're spiritually divided. How dare you look at an African Muslim and you be a Christian and you don't look at that person as your brother because they say God, instead of saying God, they say Allah. How dare you? How dare you? You know what I'm saying? Oh no, we different. Nah, man. How dare you look at another brother or sister and say, oh, you're what do they call them? Tethers. Oh, you're a tether. I'm an African American. We're a different breed. Like, how dare you? You sound ignorant as hell, bro. That shit get on my nerves, bro. Except the reason it get on my nerves is because I understand Dr. Barbara Sizemore said, she broke it down. All revolutionary movements, anytime an oppressed people has had to overthrow their oppressor, it started with identity. It starts with identity. Wow. Isn't that interesting? After listing all of these false identities that black people take on, it turns out that identity is the first step to revolution. Wow. Would you look? If you think it's by coincidence that your oppressor has new identities for you. You're a Christian. You're from Texas. You're from Georgia. They're from Ghana. Like, a revolution starts with identity. Because once you tell yourself I am, then you start to see other people as you see yourself. And then the people start to come together. What's the next step? What comes after identity? According to Dr. Barbara Sizemore, culture. Culture is next. Wow. Isn't that interesting? That culture is part of revolution. And yet, white tea folks cannot keep their hands out of our culture. The same oppressor that gives us false identities and false culture also, whenever we do create culture, wants to be included, wants to just be around. They just want to have fun. How many of y'all seen the movie Sinners? How many of y'all seen the movie Sinners? That's what he was talking about when they were inside that what was it called? Juke joint. When they was in the juke joint and people was trying to get in, that's the culture. That's the culture. Yeah. Yeah. So, steps to revolution. As far as what you see in people groups that have been oppressed and alleviate themselves of that oppression on their own merit. It starts with identity. Once you say, I'm an African, and are you an African? And the person says, yeah, I'm an African. Okay, all right. But we're in America where being African is hard. Oh, yeah, it's hard, yeah. How are we going to survive? Well, we'll eat the scraps that they throw away. We'll braid our hair so we have maps to go to the north. We'll grow our own farms and our food so that they can't poison us. And we'll sing songs that will let people know that we're running to the north and where to meet at. Songs, food, wait a minute, culture. Holy shit. What? I don't even enjoy telling y'all this because it's so easy to understand. Once you understand it, though, so I'm not, but it's like, damn, we don't even know this. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. So we started with an identity. We start coming together based on that identity. And then we have to survive the environment as a people group. How we survive informs the culture. We start to sing songs a certain way. We start to speak a certain way so our slave owners can't understand us. We start to do our hair a certain way so that we can liberate ourselves and hold food in our hair. We start to do different things, so that becomes culture. How you survive. A lot of us need to leave the slave culture alone, I'm going to be honest. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, a lot of them greasy greens and a lot of that stuff, that's from the plantation. We don't need to eat that no more. We had to eat that to survive at one point, and we should stop eating it right now, immediately. But anyway, culture is how a people group survives. What's the last step to revolution? So we start with identity, then you go to culture. The last step is politics. And I don't mean voting. I don't mean voting. The last step is defending the culture by any means necessary. Politics means basically the interaction and exchange between two people groups. Think about the root word of politics is polite. When you're polite with other people. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to other people. Politeness is you two are, maybe exchanging a conversation and, you're acting a certain way as to be polite. Politics is how we meet the aims of the culture. The culture is meant to protect us. So the culture is like defense. The politics is like offense. The politics is how we move the culture forward, how we protect the culture, how we protect the identity of the people in the culture. So when it comes to the last phase, it's politics. And I don't mean voting. I'm going to say that again. Some of y'all know about Nat Turner. That was politics. Some of y'all know about Jean-Jacques Dessalines. That was politics. Dudley Bookman. That was politics. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know about the Mau Mau Rebellion. That's politics. We're not talking about voting. Hey, truth be told, appreciate you, sister. Truth be told, know what I'm talking about. She already know. I already know you know. So yeah, at the end of the day, we need identity, culture, and politics in common. We all need to essentialize under one identity, but shared identity. Ideally, an identity not rooted in oppression, so that we don't begin to internalize our oppressor's way of looking at us, which is why we should choose to be African and not black. Because, right, black is rooted in oppression. But it's okay to be black, you know what I'm saying? We black. But black, again, is just, black is an African in oppression. So, at the end of the day, even Dr. John Henrik Clarke couldn't wait for us to get past the black phase of revolution and get to where we really know who we are now, we Africans. All right, so we got identity, then you have your culture, and finally, you move to defend and advance the people in that culture. That's politics. And there you have it. Then after you do that, you've now started a successful revolution. I don't believe black people in America have gotten to the politics level. We tried it. I mean, I'll give us that. We attempted it, but we didn't attempt revolutionary culture. And a lot of it is assimilationalist culture. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the problem. And when it comes to culture itself, you know, a lot of black people don't even know what black culture is because it's so normalized to them. But we think that what we see on MTV is culture. I don't even know if kids watch MTV anymore. But you know, Vivo or whatever music video or whatever. We think that that's our culture. That's not our culture. That's the oppressor has now co-opted our culture because they're trying to quell the revolution. They're trying to stop the revolution. So they put stars like Sexy Red up in front of you and tell you all, look, black women, this is what you like. And we say, okay, well, she's black, so this must be for us. And then we go listen to it and it's like, okay, well, the beats were made by us, so the beats sound hard. And she is doing our culture. She is rapping. So, okay, cool. Yeah, this is for us. And then next thing you know, we got a bunch of little girls rapping about the color of holes they shouldn't even know exist. You know what I'm saying? They rapping about the color of orifices on people's bodies that the little girl shouldn't even know was there. You know what I'm saying? The little boy shouldn't know was there. That's not our culture. That's our culture after it's been co-opted by capitalism. Because Sexy Red doesn't do it for the culture. She does it for the money. She will tell you herself she's doing it for money. So that is capitalism. Capitalism corrupts any culture it touches, any culture. Because, you know, what's the point of defending your identity through culture if you can defend your identity through the white man's dollar? What's the point? You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why we get Shannon Sharps. Oh snap, we did a full circle. That was a long ass circle, but we back. We back. Yes, that's how we get these black men with wealth. And I want the sisters to hold black men accountable that, you know, step outside the community. But when y'all have this conversation, sisters, I want y'all to remember that it is the wealthy black men, and they are not the only black men. It is the wealthy black men that the white women want. Understand this. Black women, according to statistics, are the least desired women in America and on the planet. But in America, let's stay in America for now. They're the least desired, meaning they're desired by black men, but almost exclusively. White men do not swipe right on black women. Asian men do not swipe right. Indian, Jewish, whatever kind of man you thinking about. They Arab, whatever. They are not swiping right on the sisters as much as they are swiping right on a vanilla queen. And that is the reason why, and I hate it when people try to say, like, it's because black women are race loyal. That is not it. The problem is that they are not favored in the dating scene. Okay. All right. So we understand that when it comes to other communities. And so why then do we see white tea women get with black men more than we see black women get with white tea men? You know what I'm saying? Why do we see that for some reason black men seem more desirable? No. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Wealthy black men seem more desirable to the oppressor. She is not there because Shannon wanted her. She is there because she wanted some money. Do y'all understand what I'm trying to say here? She's not there because a black man wanted her. She is there as the aggressor because she wanted some money. Shannon is foolish enough to let her in. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that black men are more desirable to white women. It's that money is more desirable. Now it all makes sense. The draft was a few days ago. All the first round draft picks had white women. Did y'all see that? Every single fucking one had a white woman next to them. Yes, everyone. Yes, those children will look like Meghan Markle. There's no stopping it. But what we're trying to say is, it is not because she has some appetite for black black men that she just loves so much. It's because they see a black man about to come up. And they themselves have been scapegoats of white supremacy and sacrificed on behalf of the interests of the group to be broke. Okay, you understand? It's part of white supremacy to have broke white people. Y'all understand this, right? It's part of white supremacy to have broke white people. Because if all the white people were rich, we would revolt and take over Africa immediately. We would all be on code. Like, it would be too easy. So white supremacy says, all right, well, in order for us to be like really good, as mostly like the most of us to be good, the few have to suffer. I'm sorry, but we won't put you in the ghetto. We'll put you in trailer homes, but you just gotta be broke. And so in an attempt to try to regain wealth, white people will use the labor of a black man that literally, just like in slavery, sacrificed his body in order to get that wealth, was traded and owned by white teams, white-owned teams. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that and you say, okay, we see what's happening now. Black men that make, it was over six figures at one point, but I think this is an old statistic, like from 2020, I think. Inflation has kind of changed things since then. I don't think 100,000 a year is hitting like it used to. But the statistic was that black men that make over 100,000 a year, I think it's like 70-something% of them. 70, I believe it was 78. I don't want to misquote anything. Y'all can look it up. But a high percentage of black men that make over 100,000 a year actually end up marrying outside of the race. So when we're holding black men accountable for interracial relationships and how they are letting these white women extract them of wealth that they earned off their own bodies, then we have to acknowledge it is not just black men, because 85% of black men are married to black women. So it's not black men, it's rich black men. Because it's not Shannon who pursued her. It is her that has the luxury and the privilege to pursue him. And he feels so validated by that because his whole life he's been validated by white people and objectified for his body, right? His physique. So this is what he's used to. He feels validated by that. And then there you go. A match made in heaven. Sadomasochism. Shannon is the submissive one. She is the dominant. And they play a sadomasochistic role where, Shannon gets to role play what he is to her in society. Something to be used and discarded of. Something to be used and discarded of. Black men, when you are in these relationships, you are looked at as something to be used and then discarded of. And that's what she did. That's why all of this came out. That's why all of this came out about him, because she's discarding of him. She's finished with him. She's putting him in the recyclable bin. He's done now. And she's letting him know, you thought you were in charge in the bedroom, but I'm in charge everywhere else. And that's what she's showing him. You are the submissive one. And that's it. I see a sister down here talking. Because if something happened, they control the money. Exactly. They don't contribute. Right. They don't contribute. These rich black men do not contribute to the black community. Let's look at Shannon Sharpe, for example. This man was about to give this white girl $10 million to shut up. $10 million. Can anyone find on the internet where Shannon Sharpe has given $10 million to the black community anywhere to build a school, a bank, a hospital, a grocery store, or distribution center? When has Shannon Sharpe, out of the kindness of his heart, donated $10 million to anywhere in the black community to build something where black people would benefit? If you can't find it, then you should understand what this is going on between Shannon and this white tea woman, this frosted female up here. You should understand it's an extraction of wealth. It's an extraction of wealth, and he is foolish enough to give it to her. Somebody wants to co-host. I don't do that. If you want to come up, though, you can. If anybody wants to come up and talk. We took the long route to learning today. I'm sorry if y'all hear the dog. My neighbor dog just be barking. We took the long route to learning today. So I kind of went through all different kinds of topics. We talked about the early feminists and suffragettes and how they were anti-black misandrists. We talked about identity before that and how any identity outside of African is a false identity as long as we're oppressed. We don't have the luxury of being man or woman, gay or straight, Christian. No, there's no such thing as a black Christian. I want to tell y'all that right now. It's a lie. That's another lie. We think we're white people, so we think we have the same privilege that they do in order to just follow God's law, right? But if I have the same God as a white man, and I find myself on the business end of oppression, then that would mean that God is a white racist, wouldn't it? Am I tripping? If God allows me to be oppressed, and this is the same God that white people also worship, then whose prayers does he answer? Whose prayers is he answering? If he's answering their prayers, he ain't answering mine. So that means God is on the side of the racists, right? Am I tripping? Let me know. Let me know. That's actually the title of a book, God is a White Racist. Y'all can check it out. I think I saw Sister Yvette in here. She's the one that shared that with me. Shout out to my elder sister Yvette. Much love to you, sister, if you're still here. That's my elder. She's been a mentor, someone that taught me almost everything I'm telling y'all started with a conversation with her. So much love to her. The narrative, because it's marketable. Black people, they have their own religion. Do they, though? Do black people have their own indigenous religion? There is an indigenous religion. But do they? Are they allowed to practice it is the question. You can't tell me you follow God's law if every time you following God's law, you stop when Whitey tell you to stop. Let's be honest. Nobody is such a Christian that they're going helping brothers escape from prison. Nobody is such a Christian that they're going to beat up a cop. All right, let me chill. I think I might have wilded out right there. Yo, F1 in the comments. Yo, F1 in the comments, y'all. F1 in the comments. Please, F1 in the comments. I wilded out. I forgot I'm on here, yo. Yo, please, F1. Thank you, please, F1. Yo, I'm wilding. But nobody is so Christian that they will unapologetically defend their people. You understand? So that being the case, there's no such thing as a black Christian. You don't follow God's law. You follow the white man's law. And you follow God's law within the boundaries of white supremacy. You follow, if you're a black Muslim, you follow God's law within the boundaries of either white supremacy or Arab supremacy, the Arab version of white supremacy, whatever y'all on. Whatever, system they have to place you at the bottom, the kafir system. Some of y'all don't know. The kafir system is modern day Jim Crow in these Arab countries. But yeah, appreciate the gifts. Gabrielle, appreciate that. But yeah, so we just in here talking about these false identities. Every identity I have found is false. Black people that call themselves communists. You ain't no communist. You ain't no communist, man. Let's really think about it. You ain't no communist. You can advocate for communism. You can talk about it all you want. But you're not going to change the cap of communism. You can talk about it all you want. But you're not going to change the capitalist system. We can use communism. Now, that's the thing. We can use Marxism. We can use communism. We can use some of the language that is taught us. We can use some of the principles that they got originally. Well, I won't say they got it from us, but Stokely Carmichael, Brother Kwame Ture says anyone with a brain can tell that capitalism is a corrupt system. You didn't need to be Karl Marx in order to understand that. Karl Marx just put it into words that white people speak. But Africans were already communal before communism. So all we have to do is be African again, right? This is why the African identity is so important. Once you become African again, you understand that there's balance between the man and the woman. That we're not codependent. We're interdependent. We work together. We work well together. We got this far together. I mean, last I checked, there hasn't been a movement where black women were all on their own and black men were all on their own. I haven't seen that movement. Some of y'all act like it exists. I haven't seen it. Someone let me know what movement that was and what it accomplished for us. Please let me know, because every time I see us marching for voting rights, to use public bathrooms, I've seen men and women together on the front lines. I've seen men and women on the front lines of the Black Power movement. I've seen like the Me Too movement, whatever it is, Now, of course, there's loud voices that are dissenters, right? There's going to be opposition within our own group at all times. But we never let that become so loud that we begin to generalize our people, right? Do y'all know that during World War II, there were Uish people? I'm using, Zios, some of y'all call them. People that wear small hats and like blue stars. There were some of them that worked for the Smatsis, right? They worked for Schmadoff Schmittler, right? They had traitors. But for some reason, whenever we talk about black people, people are quick to bring up black people that have betrayed the interests of our community as some sort of gotcha moment. Like, look, you sold yourselves into slavery. look over here, black on black crime. Like they do that a lot, right? But every oppressed group has had traitors. Every one. You can't find one that didn't. So how come we don't identify any of the other groups by their traitors? But when it comes to black people, somebody always got something to say, bruh. I can't come together with black people. They're too homophobic. They're too misogynist. They're too, liberal. Well, that's what a lot of black men say. They complain about liberalism. I mean, there are a lot of black liberals. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. A lot of black liberals. My goodness, in America at least. Good God. Like we need to brainwash everybody. Everybody need a smack. And I don't know how we gonna get it out their mind to stop being liberal. I don't know, but yeah. So, all right, man. I'm up here talking. Anybody want to come up? Feel free. But yeah, we're just talking about false identities. The power dynamic between a black man and a white woman will continue to be unethical. It will always be unethical for a black man to be in a relationship with anyone but a black woman. Why is it unethical? Because we're still oppressed. I'm sorry, I'm sweating, y'all. We are still oppressed. We are still in oppression. Do you understand that? Okay. So you cannot be in a relationship with your oppressor while you're oppressed and it still be ethical. Do you understand that? You cannot be in an ethical relationship with someone that has more power in society than you do, black man. Do you understand that? Rich black men specifically. Yes, there are some broke black men that try to come up by extracting wealth from white women. That does exist as well. Let's not act like it doesn't. There are black men that see a white woman as an opportunity, and they fetishize the woman's skin and fetishize her based on that opportunity. They're like, oh man, I can come up. No, you can't. You think you can. But when grandpa died and it's time to pass down the family wealth, you won't see a dime that's not controlled by her. I seen an interview lately that was insane, bro. It was Joe Budden and his girlfriend, interracial couple, and then a white tea couple. And the black man was saying, they were asking, like, at first it was a sister that was speaking, Joe Budden's girlfriend, that was like, interracial relationships are problematic because, the wealth doesn't get passed down to the next generation. It doesn't come back to the black community. The black man in the interracial relationship said, well, yes, it will. That's not true. Like, You know, anything that I have belongs to her, and it will go to our children. Now, the white woman he was with had children already, and she said she would get a prenup. She was like, I'm if we were to get married, I'm getting a prenup. And so he's just sitting there feeling great. I know he felt wild after just promising that he would give her everything, and she turned around on him and said, you ain't getting none of this. She said, I got kids. I got to make sure that they good. It's crazy. Yo, it happened in broad daylight. I might make a video about that interview though. That was hilarious. And Joe Budden is sitting there cracking up, bro. Like you really just said in front of the world that you would give this girl anything. He literally said, anything that I got, she gotta handle. She gotta handle it for me. You know, any wealth that I got, she gonna handle it. She said, I'm getting a prenup. She said, you ain't touching my wealth. My family ain't gonna go for that. I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying? What did they do when Meghan Markle? What did they do when Meghan Markle married Harry and she got closer to that white throne of supremacy? What happened when she married Meghan Markle? What did they do? They denounced. They removed him from the kingdom. They are refugees in Canada because they said you ain't getting none of this wealth. Listen, you're not inheriting in this. You know what I'm saying? We'll give it to someone else. We ain't doing that. The older brother knew what was up. He got him a stale piece of pasty bread. You know what I'm saying? He knew what was up. Harry or whatever, he messed up. So he don't get none of the wealth. Meghan Markle messed up too, but you know, again, just like the black man, that the lower, I won't say lower class, but the blue collar black men that try to, co-opt and try to get in circles with white women in order to extract wealth from their community. Meghan Markle also sought to do the same thing, right? To a degree. You can't tell me she didn't think of, for 1 second, this dude got a bald head that he covered up with a comb over. You know what I'm saying? She didn't think that for once. Do you think Meghan Markle would be with a black man if he had a bald head like that? You think she would be with a black man with locks that had a bald head in the middle of right in the middle of his head? He got a big old bald spot. Look like a crater on the moon. You know what I'm saying? You think she didn't think for 1 minute? This man is a billionaire. This man is powerful. I want that. I want that fairy tale. I want that Cinderella story. Shannon Sharp selling himself short. Shannon Sharp is selling himself. That's the problem. Shannon Sharp is for sale. His labor is for sale. He ain't the only one. But yeah, y'all, I think I'm done. I appreciate everybody coming, man. Ashayo to Dr. Jawanza Kajufu, Dr. Barbara Sizemore, Dr. Amos Wilson, all of our scholars and our teachers that I used today. If y'all got questions, you can DM me. Please don't comment on my videos if you try to reach out to me, because I don't be in them comments. Too many pretendians down there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so if y'all want to build with us, b1initiative.org, that's our website. We're building Sankofapedia, a free Afrocentric online encyclopedia. So it's like Wikipedia, but from an Afrocentric perspective. We need writers, we need editors. Just make an account so that you can add little black history facts to it so that other black people can learn from you. We want this website to be only built and maintained by black people. So if you're black, and I don't mean just African American, if you're anywhere in the diaspora, come and join us. b1initiative.org, Sankofapedia, Sankofa, 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 Pedia, Pedia. So Sankofa, Pedia. EDIA. Go ahead and look it up. We trademarked the name, so as soon as you look it up, you're going to see it. So, yeah, that's everything. Free Congo, free Sudan, free Haiti, free Jamaica, free Barbados, free Panama, free Dominican Republican brothers and sisters, free the brothers and sisters in Brazil, free the brothers and sisters in Mozambique, Kenya, Ghana, the Sahel region, the Alliance of Sahel States, the brothers and sisters in Senegal, the brothers and sisters in Zambia, the brothers and sisters in Namibia, the brothers and sisters in South Africa. Free our people, the black UK cousins that we got. Free the black people all over the globe. Free the land, free the land, free the land. Free the people. We have the power. Amala Wethu. We have the power. And so I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace and Pan-Africanism. And I'll see y'all. One love. Black power.